with WWE stars upset over not being on WrestleMania and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. On BT Sport, Bayley touched on turning heel in WWE, revealing the origin, saying, "It was all my idea when it first happened. I was in, I don't know if you remember, it was such a weird time in my career where it wasn't really going where we all thought it would, and I felt the fans turning on me already and just not buying into it. I didn't want to just kind of coast along. I knew when I joined WWE, when I wanted to be a wrestler, I wanted to be able to do everything. I wanted to be bad, be good, have this match, I wanted to do everything and ride that wave of WWE. I felt it was a perfect opportunity. The last match I had before the change was, I forgot the pay-per-view, but I lost the championship to Charlotte and then I had to break down and cry. They told me to just throw a fit and cry and cry. I thought it was so strange, but you know, I did it and I just told myself I can't come back the same Bayley. I talked to Vince and I talked to my writers throughout this whole idea of a complete 180 character change. He's like, okay, we're going to do it. But it was like 2 days later, so I had no time to really figure out what this is going to be. Then we did that change, and then it's just grown throughout the years now that I've had time to kind of settle in and see how the fans react to it. Speaking about her damage control stable, Bayley noted those that she initially wanted in the group, telling Ariel Helwani, "That is something that I've thought about for a couple of years before it actually happened. I know Dakota has talked about this in her interviews in the past. It had a different group of people as the time went on. Peyton Royce was someone that I really wanted in there. Tegan Knox was someone that I wanted in there. There were a lot of people that it just kind of changed throughout time and as people left the company and things like that, but Dakota was she was one of the OGs that I always envisioned in this group. I had a few different ideas. We threw out a million different names. Creative came back with a million different names too, and we just couldn't get on the same page. Then you have to also go through legal and all this stuff. My original one, I wanted it to be called The Now. To me, it was that I didn't care about the championships I won in the past. I don't care about what happens next. Like these girls right here and what we're about to do, the present is all that matters. The Now was my first idea, but there's a show called The Now or something like that. You know, it's just legal stuff." During that same interview, Bayley talked about heading to Japan to support Sasha Banks during her recent title match. "I went there on my own. There were a few of us that flew out there just because she's been there for all my big moments, you know, even as she hasn't been a part of the company. I've made my return. I've had my big matches. She's there for me. So of course, I want to be there for her. And we've done so much together in WWE. She means so much to me and so much to the wrestling world. I have to be there for this moment. I literally flew out right after Raw, got to Japan 2 hours before the show started, and raced over there and met everybody there and sat in the crowd kind of incognito. It was so magical to be there for her. I just knew how important it was to her, and she just loves this. Everybody knows how much she loves this and how much wrestling means to her and how much WWE means to her, and she wouldn't be there without WWE, so I think it meant a lot to her that I was able to go." Bayley then said this about a possible return to WWE for Banks. "I'll say yes, because I mean, this is her home. This is her dream, and I love to see what she's doing and what she's going to be doing over the next few months. She's going to literally take over the world, take the world by storm. But I know this is her home and where her heart is. By her heart, I mean me. So she needs to come back to me, you know? I need her. I need my travel partner, but I'm gonna say yes, like I'll never give up hope that she'll come back." During a WWE live event, Seth Rollins was outside the ring with Austin Theory and ended up throwing a trash can at him. Here's the clip. Reporting on previous plans for the American Nightmare WrestleMania, Fightful wrote that Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre title match. A lot has changed since November, clearly, because none of these three people are involved with each other at all. Rundowns as of that period had 2 title matches happening, this one on night 1 and another on night 2. Cody Rhodes was listed as an option for both of them, with to be announced / Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns being set as a WWE Universal title match, and Rollins versus Rhodes / Drew as a WWE Championship match. Rhodes was always set to win the Royal Rumble as one would expect, but the Drew McIntyre / Sheamus team took off, and Seth Rollins moved on to Logan Paul, and the extra title match was nixed altogether. Speaking of WrestleMania plans, Fightful added that Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey's creative adjustments also caused some changes to this match. As of November, Charlotte was actually slated to return to the WWE Raw brand before Rousey took January off and she picked up the title. While many speculated Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair as a WrestleMania match, we haven't seen any plans that indicate that was suggested. With Steve Austin intended to be the opponent for Brock Lesnar at Mania, it looks like the Beast is going to take on Omos instead, as Ringside News noted. Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania match drew a ton of attention because most fans don't care for it. We can confirm Omos was not the original backup to the Austin match. In fact, there have been several backups pitched all around, and this is the one that got put on the card. Taking to Instagram, former WWE and ECW star Stevie Richards gave an update after previously revealing he is suffering from health issues. Here's the video.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to send a message out to each and every one of you who have sent messages, comments, emails, well wishes, and especially the prayers. I want to thank everybody for that. It means the world to both of us, my wife and myself, and we have felt them, and we're definitely going to have updates soon. No answers yet, but we're absolutely grateful to God that we're in the right place. And speaking of prayers, just ask you to do me one favor. We're here, I have my wife here, but there's people in this hospital that are in much worse shape and also don't have anybody. If you can extend your prayers to those people and have them feel them so they can heal quickly and get back to their families, that would be the one favor I would ask. So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. Have a great day.
For a recent A&E special on the NWO, former WCW president Eric Bischoff recalled a fan telling her how much the stable meant to her, as she would spend time with her father watching them on TV. Bischoff would add this, saying the fan's father was an alcoholic, which was not true. He is now taking to his 83 Weeks podcast to apologize. I learned a few things. I learned that it was basically Hulk Hogan's idea to go head-to-head with WWE, which, that was a surprise, but I get it. Look, and I say that kind of half-jokingly, but actually not. But look, even in that show, at the very end of the show when I talked about Amanda, the young lady who I met at a convention, and the A&E producers found that footage, which I didn't even know existed, by the way. That's what a great job they did on the details that made that story come to life as much as it did. But even in my interview at the very end when I told that story about Amanda, when she explained to me about her situation with her father, and I said it on A&E, and I'm so disappointed in myself for saying it, but I described the tough life that Amanda had and the time that she got to spend with her father. I said, when I was describing how tough her life was, I said her father was an alcoholic. That's not true. I didn't say that for any reason other than I thought that's what she had told me. I feel so horrible about that. It just makes me realize that, look, people say things, sometimes maliciously, sometimes because they have an agenda, sometimes because they just need to feel better about themselves, and sometimes they say things that may or may not be true. But sometimes people just make mistakes, as I did, because there was no benefit to me in throwing that little nugget of misinformation into that interview. There was no agenda. agenda. There was no benefit to it, the story was compelling and is compelling enough on its own. I didn't have to color it up any to make it more compelling, but I made a mistake, and sometimes I hear things in these interviews that I don't quite remember that way, or in some cases, I know that it just didn't happen, but I don't get upset about it because I understand. Hell, I was guilty of it myself, so I know I've done a couple interviews with people now that caught some of those same things that, Hulk said that, threw a flag on it because they're so used to doing that. Look, man, it's all good. It's all good. I'm so grateful that I got to sit in my chair 28 years or whatever it's been after all that stuff went down and see such a phenomenal story taking place that I got to be a part of, that none of the rest of these stuff matters to me. It really doesn't. Going back to talk of WrestleMania plans, Wrestling News provided information on the previously rumored bout between John Cena and Logan Paul. Sometime in the fall, WWE had Cena penciled in for a match against Logan Paul. In fact, Cena teased this on social media, and Paul has stated that he would love to have a WrestleMania match with him. That was the match that was planned as of December, but by January, they pivoted to Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. According to another report from Wrestling News, it seems that some in WWE are not too pleased with not having a spot at WrestleMania, with it said that there's also some unhappiness about some of these slots on the show being used by legends and celebrities. Obviously, things could change, but those we spoke to were not happy about not being involved in the company's biggest show of the year in Los Angeles. And this was your Pro Wrestling News update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.